Saludos y bienvenidos everybody to the PGP podcast, episode 57 with the Superintendent Roundtable. Hey, Josh Tobat, Pro Principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland, ISD, Garland, USA, ready to rock and roll and take out that note-taking device. I don't know what you use. Those chat, I have yet to use ChatGPT. I'm sorry. I'm still, that lady right there, that's all she does. That's why we're kind of a very good combo here. She does that part, I do this part. But in the end, it's all about taking out whatever you use to take in the information. Take in the information that you're a better educator. Because it doesn't matter who we have. These are top-notch shows. Not because I say so, because it's my podcast. But if you could see the litany of guests that we've had, Marty, nonstop from show number 1 to our Superintendent Roundtable, it's been A+ platinum guests that just bring the knob. Boom! They get that bat out there and they hit that ball and it's a home run, baby. How are you doing there, Dr. Moreno?
Josh, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for holding down the fort while I was gone a couple of weeks. I mean, I was out 2 weeks, and you know what? I went back and saw the show, and it was amazing. I am so excited to be back on the show. And you know what? With our guests today, superintendents, I learned so much from them every single time. It's Superintendent Roundtable number 2, which means we had a great show with the first round that we had to do it again, right? Because there's just so much to learn from them.
And so if you want to go back to episode number 8, we'll go into that after the Chinchilagua moment. But it's about growing from each other, not only last week's show, but all the other previous week's show, because it's all free PD. All free PD for you. You don't, right now, I can only talk about the state of Texas, Marty. You've heard that in the news, right? Even though we got a pay raise, our team members got a pay raise, but all the districts are in debt. The majority of the districts in Texas, I don't know about Kentucky, I don't know about Illinois, but there is a big gaping hole in finance. So podcasts allow you to have that free PD. You don't need to get a PO. You don't need to get 3 quotes. Get them approved by your principal, and they got to get it approved by the chief financial officer, and you got to line up the teaks on how you're going to use it and implement it. It's all free PD, right? So Dr. Moreno.
I'm laughing because it's so true. I mean, it's like goosebumps are coming out because it's like, you're absolutely right.
Hey, out there, if you're not part of our world, that's what we have to go through to bring in speakers, to buy stuff. Oh, these teachers, they waste all this money, these educators. No, it's not easy to bring somebody in.
Yeah.
You have to be on the approved bid process. And if you're not on the approved bid process, they have to send their insurance. They have to send in the quote, what type of blood they have. They have to donate plasma. They have to make sure they have their COVID shots for the last COVID strain and the Spanish flu, everything. So it's not easy, but here, you don't need to do none of that because it's free PD. Any updates for you there, Dr. Moreno?
You know, Josh, I don't know if everybody knows, but I was in Guatemala last week doing PD in Guatemala, and it was amazing. If you didn't see it, go to my TikTok or my Instagram at Newcomer Success. And oh my God, I had so much fun. And so, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I'm hoping one day we can get them on the show so that we can learn from how they're kind of picking up, because I want them to start getting on the show because they have so much to learn and they're so hungry for knowledge. And so, yeah, hopefully they can start looking at our podcast and we can get them here. So, no.
Awesome. Great. And we're going to need that. I'll reach out to you because we need we're going to do our international show number 2 with teachers from all over the world. So we're going to need a couple more guests on that. But before we get into that, the Chinchilagua moment. Mike, I don't know if Kentucky, you know what Chinchilagua is, but it's not something you eat in Taco Bell, all right? That's a chalupa. Chinchilagua, it's a game played by Mexicans. And what we do is that we line up against a wall during fiestas, Navidad, Christmas, whatever, you name it, holiday season, Mother's Day, which Mexican moms have 2 Mother's Days if you live in the United States. And you yell, Chinchilagua y arriba, boy, and you run and you jump on top of your cousin, and then your aunt jumps up and everyone's piling up on top of each other until the wall comes down. Someone breaks their ankle. They have like third-degree scars because of burns on the floor. It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. So my moment today is twofold. And we were talking about this before the show with I think with Chris. Hey, I'd like to give a big shout out to everybody who does a podcast, because a lot of there's a it's a big small industry, because you think that podcasts are like, everyone says, oh, there's so many out there, but if you talk to people, they really don't know about podcasts. If you talk about individuals that do podcasts, they know that they're out there, but they don't get embedded with it. And I was talking to Chris, our superintendent, one of the superintendents, and this is like a part-time job. No one knows what it takes to do this, because it's not about asking questions and getting a computer and a mic. It's finding the guests, making sure the guests know what central time zone you are, Eastern, Pacific. We've had guests from New Zealand. We have guests from Africa to in sync with central time zone. That is it can be very tedious. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but putting it out on social media to promote the show. Because if you're going to do something, you're going to do it right. I believe it. If you're going to do quality, you got to do quality work out there. So please make sure that if you don't follow any podcasters, and we're going to have a couple of shows this summer. Mari, I think you're going to be out because Mari's going to be in Africa. She'll talk about that as she gets closer to her time. But we're going to have, I like inviting other people. I'm not here to envy anybody. I love seeing people succeed. My joy is seeing you succeed. When I hear that Mari is going off to Africa, I love it. When I see that Mari is going off to Central America and she's performing conferences in the Rio Grande Valley, I love seeing people successful, because there's enough success out there that we in education need to root each other on. So if you're a follower of podcasts, hey, give them a little like or something, because you know what? It is a lot. And trust me, there is no money. We're not Joe Rogan. We're not Joe Rogan. YouTube is not sending us big checks at all whatsoever. And the second chinchilla moment, some of you might know, some of you might not know, but I was honored the last couple of days. I just came in from Guadalajara, Mexico, and one of my former students just became a doctor. Just a handful of years ago, I was watching her play as a junior varsity basketball, girls basketball, a senior. She was a student council. She helped design the brand new school. And I once told her, and I tell a lot to my kids, if you graduate from college, let me know. And I don't care where you are, invite me to your graduation. I'll be there. Well, darn it, she found me. And she goes, hey, Mr. Tovar. And she found me last year. She goes, hey, Mr. Tovar, guess what? Remember when you promised you go to my graduation? Yeah, mija, I'm becoming a doctor. Woo! I love it. Where? Guadalajara, Mexico. Oh! I have not been to my mother country in 25 years since the troubles began. If you know about Mexican stuff, there's the troubles out there. I haven't been there. But you know what? I promised her. And I got an international passport. I've never had one before. I got everything going on. And the parents seeing me there during the ceremony, we broke bread together. It was such a beautiful experience. Not me, Josh, the principal, me, the educator. Mm-hmm. Because number one, that she was willing to remember the promise. Number two, that she thought so much of me that I couldn't, as a principal, not a teacher, as a principal, that she thought so much of me to reach out saying, please come and see me graduate. You know what? I was there, and nothing was going to stop me from being there. So my moment is this, you know what? However challenging sometimes things might happen, I always talk about the invisible paycheck. And mm-hmm. The invisible paycheck are those moments that you never knew you connected with a kid. And for her, and I've had tons of graduations I've gone to, that kids are willing to reach out to you and invite you. That speaks volumes. So don't forget about that as you recharge this summer. As you know, right now, probably your hair is falling out. Your scores came in and they're not probably where you want them to be. Or your AP scores were really not as many 4s or 5s, whatever it might be. It's not about the scores. It's about the human interaction and connection you do with your kids. Because in the end, you're not there teaching a content. You're there teaching a human. And kids don't care how much you know. until they know how much you care. And once they know that you connect, they will forever speak your name with love, whether it be 18, 28, 38. So remember, you're in the best profession, the profession that creates all the other professions, education. And don't forget that you, my friend, make a difference in someone's life. What do you think about that, Dr. Moreno?
Josh, and you cumpliste. That's the most important thing is que cumpliste. You actually did it because it costed you a passport, which means you had to, buy that. And they actually gave you one. That's the other thing, but whatever. But you actually did it and you went to another country to do it. And that I think speaks a lot. And we need to remember that, right? That we plant those seeds today because those kids will come back around and they will remember you. And then when they ask you to do something, or I quickly jump on that as well, because it's so important for us to, again, cumplir con nuestros hijos, right? They're our kids. Those are our babies. I don't care if you're, 21 years old or 30 years old. We always make sure that we take care of our kids. And so kudos to you. And I'm super excited that you went down to Mexico and you made it back alive.
Right. And I'll be posting some pictures. Those of you that follow me, I'll post some pictures of the beautiful country that is Mexico and how beautiful our people are. And that's enough about us bantering back and forth. If you want to watch Superintendent Roundtable #1, that is episode 8. So reach out, go back and watch those superintendents that totally hit a home run like our superintendents will be. Remember, it was Joe Clark, Peter Finch, Zandra Joe Galvan, Glenn Robbins, and Danya Ball from California. And if you want an individual one-on-one interview with Dr. Zandra Joe Galvan, it was episode 27. But without further ado, our awesome panel today of leaders from Texas and Kentucky here on board of the PGP podcast. Welcome, panel. Welcome to your show. Dr. Moreno, take it away.
I'm so excited and so honored to be amongst all of you, because I can't tell you how being the superintendent of a school district is, one, challenging right now, right? It's always that challenge. But number two, that you guys took the time today to work with us and to help all of our viewers out here seeing our podcast with all of the great knowledge you're going to drop today. So I'm super excited again for you guys to be here. And thank you again. Before we get started, you guys, I know it's important for our guests to share a little bit about themselves and talk a little bit about their background. So I'm going to start off with you, Chris. Chris, can you give the audience a brief background on the different roles you served while in education? Because, you're superintendent. You didn't like become superintendent from, straight out of college. There was a lot of work behind that, right? And which one was your favorite and why?
So I am an alternative certified teacher. I came out of college with a criminal justice degree. And just didn't like it, was on a second interview and said, hey, this is not what I wanted to do. So got alternative certified, started at a junior high as a teacher and coach. I was a typical guy. I taught history, was at the junior high for a few years, and then was able to move to high school in Lone Oak, Texas, and then was able to go a couple years in Mesquite ISD. They help pay for your master's, so I got a master's degree from them, and through the leadership program they have, I was able to see there's really a large need for administrators, and kind of got into that. Was a junior high principal for 2 years, and then a high school principal in the same district for 3 years, and then was lucky enough to get an assistant superintendent position where I came on and I did everything under the sun. I was in charge of safety, security, maintenance and operations, athletics, IT, some other things, I'm sure, professional development, all the things, and was under a fantastic mentor named Rhonda Turner. And as she was retiring, I had not messed it up bad enough, and they decided to keep me on. And this is now starting year 2, almost 3.5 as superintendent. This is year 21 in education. My favorite is always junior high, whether it was a junior high principal or a junior high teacher. I think you have to be a little off to love those little animals, and I do. I love they're weird and they don't know what's going on, and they're loud and they smell sometimes. They're like Labrador puppies, and I just want to hug them and tell them how awesome they are and get them ready for life.
Awesome. And remind everybody, where are you superintendent of?
I am in Quitman ISD, which is Northeast Texas. We are behind the piney curtain and just enjoying every day of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. How about you, Mike?
So I'm Mike Stacy. I'm the superintendent of Beechwood Independent Schools in the very tip-top part of Northern Kentucky. Been here 10 years. And I actually have this background on because my office is packed up. Tomorrow is my last day as superintendent. So I'm retired effective the end of the month. But I started out, I too am alternate certification. I was in law enforcement. I came out to be a coach, was a high school coach, college coach. And then my wife got me back into K-12. And I was a middle school assistant principal, an elementary principal, a high school principal, a deputy, and now a superintendent. And I would have to say elementary, I'm not sure you can beat it. You're the mayor and a rock star all at the same time. They have literally no concept of age. And it was absolutely a pleasure. But every stop has had its pro and con. And it's been a privilege to have this career.
Awesome. And congratulations on your retirement. I want to make sure I highlight that because, man, what's the first thing you're going to do the next day you wake up and you don't have that title anymore? What are you going to do?
Well, I would love to say play golf, right? But you just get to a certain age, and when you transition to a new job, they make you call it retirement. So I'm a little disappointed I'm at that age, but I'm absolutely thrilled to be at a point to where I can do something and have some flexibility in my schedule and travel and spend some time with the wife. The things that you don't necessarily have time to do when you're running a school system and taking care of other people's most valuable asset, right?
Yeah, superintendent, you're never off. You're always on.
Never off.
How about you, Derek? Tell us about your background.
Derek Conley, currently Alto, just moved to Alto, Texas, and close to Chris. We're in God's country, Piney Woods of East Texas. Been there for superintendent now for 3 months, and loving every day. It's funny. I have the same story as Chris and Mike. I was alternative certified. I've got a degree in business, majored in marketing, and I always felt called to be a teacher, not really a coach. I was coaching my little brother's little league team, and my dad just told me, "Hey, you ever thought about doing this, being a teacher and a coach?" And that moment forward, Mark Twain said, "There's 2 days: the day you're born and the day you figure out why." And at that moment, I figured out my why, and I was supposed to be helping kids and tried to grow. Just finished my 29th year. I loved. I was a teacher and a coach for. Taught high school English, and I was a teacher, coached football and baseball for 15 years, and never really thought about being an administrator. And somebody approached me about being their assistant principal, and it's been 14 years since that happened. And I just thank God for every role that I've had. Every connection that I've had has helped me to. I was the principal for several years, elementary principal. Like Mike said, is a great gig. You are you're very loved, but you also have a chance to love back. And I love been assistant superintendent for 3 years, and I just wasn't I really wanted to be a superintendent, but I just felt like I wanted to try to build my own place and help them grow. And I love where I'm at now in Alto, Texas, and excited to visit with you guys today. And I'm really pumped about this new year and watching the amazing things that happen they're going to happen in Alto ISD each and every day.
That is amazing. I am super excited and congratulations, all of you guys. It was a great last year was awesome. And we're going to talk about lessons learned and how we're going to move forward as we move through this podcast. So thank you so much again for sharing your background. And Josh, what
Thank
you got?
you. Yeah, I'm having a couple of problems with Facebook. I'm trying to. Facebook's not coming in. So if you watch us normally through Facebook, check us out on YouTube. That's why I put the YouTube link. I'll go back and try to work on it right now. But panel, thank you. I mean, go social studies people. Love it. Right
Yes.
here. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys, but something about that social study and coaching thing, right? It always happens to us right there, right? It's
Hand in hand.
universal, especially in the state of Texas. So let's start off here with Derek. What motivated you specifically to enter the field? Because you know what? A lot of people don't go into detail about the superintendency of how did you get there? Because it wasn't easy. Your path, the path to our chair as principals, that's hard. There's a lot of landmines. Yours is like a nuclear landmine just to get to your chair. And then when you get to the team of 7, team of 8, that becomes a different thing. I could say that, not you. But number one, how did you, Derek, get into education? What inspired you like to specifically hit that? I heard what you said right now, but what motivated you to say this was the instant I knew I needed to become an educator? And along the path from being that coach, being that teacher, there were a lot of steps you had to take, right? And we understand the politics of the higher chairs that you get. Who did you use as a role model to say, I got this, man? That's my Michael Jordan. That's my Messi. That's my Mike Tyson in his prime time. You always have that role model to look upon, right? Doesn't matter who. A football coach, a basketball coach, a principal, a superintendent. So what inspired you to say, I need to make that difference? And number two, who did you look up as you climbed up success?
Well, before I answer the question, I will say there's a lot of people, but it's truly divine intervention. God's put me where every spot. I always think you're going to be where God wants you to be. I've come to grips with that, and I don't take that lightly. But going back to my teaching calling was, I grew up in a small town, and I wasn't really exposed to a lot of. We didn't have the only people that were really is we were a poor area, and we didn't have a lot of successful or college educated people other than our teachers. So they became our extended family, and those teachers I think really shaped me as a person more than I really realized at the time. And then I thought in the beginning, probably much like Chris and Mike, I just wanted to always I thought I was motivated by more by money, and I want to be a businessman. But when I went in those positions and that occupation, there was something that just didn't satisfy me intrinsically as far as I felt like something was missing. And I don't know what it was, but uh, I just feel like I'm blessed to be able to people say I'm a kid magnet. I just love being around kids, and I just think my dad, and he doesn't even remember this moment, but he talked to me about how you're really good with kids, and he saw that in me, and I just that moment on, it's just it's been almost 30, a little over 30 years ago. I can remember it just like it was yesterday, but that moment just really let me know this is what I'm supposed to do. And you mentioned the path. 15 years in education, I never ever thought about being a principal. I had zero graduate classes, and uh, somebody just saw something in me and thought I had leadership skills and said, "Hey, we want you to be our assistant principal." And I did it, and it wasn't easy. I went back, continued my education, and then I did the same thing for superintendent. I love being a principal, and I really credit. You mentioned people, and uh, I've been really lucky. The first person that hired me to be a principal, he'd been my boss until March for 13 years, which is really rare in education. But Superintendent Steve Cluxton, he's in Pine Tree in Longview, Texas, and I credit a lot of where I am with to him. He gave me a chance. He's been my mentor to me. He showed me that being a principal is really a difficult position, Josh. You know that. but you cannot be the best you could be at it without support from the top and having people that support you. And the same thing as a principal, you got to support your teachers. And so I've always had him. For the last 2 years, I've aspired to be a superintendent, to create my own path, my own school. And it's been challenging. I've had a lot of interviews. It's very humbling when you mention a bunch of school board members that you sit across from them, and there's 7 people that uh, you try to impress with your credentials and your skills, but sometimes you're the right fit, sometimes you're not. And I finally found my fit in January, and Alto, Texas gave me a chance, and I just trying to build connections with those 7 people and the people around them every day. And uh, just a huge shout out to appreciation for the Alto ISD Board of Trustees for entrusting me with leading their district.
Thank you for those kind words. And yes, I think that all of us here would agree on his day, on Sunday, he's the one that places us where we're supposed to be. Agreed. A big shout out
Yes,
to
sir.
Dot McGeever Jeter. I know, Dot, I saw you trying to find us on Facebook. I know I see you on YouTube. I'm having problems with Facebook. Da Costa Ajeto from Africa. Big follower. Thank you for being here. Constance Sherrard, part of the Fantastic Four family. If you all don't know, this is the 4th show of 4 awesome group of educators. Sean Hurt, 10 o'clock on Saturdays, 10:30, Shika and Tammy, and Principal Cafele at 10:55. And we are the bookend on Sunday, the Fantastic Four with the PGP podcast. So thank you. And I'm working on it, Dot. Trust me, I'm working on Facebook. It's hard for a caveman like me to work on technology during a show. Mike, what was that moment that told you I need to go and help kids? Number 1, and number 2, along the path to your chair, who inspired you? What kept you going?
Yeah, so mine was a little different. I got tired of arresting people and seeing them at the worst time of their life, and then got into some really rough situations that could have ended in something you would have to live with for a long period of time.
Yeah.
And really coming in, and the wife, my lovely wife, kept kind of poking at me, go back and coach. And I'd grown up like Derek in a very poor region of Kentucky, and I'd always said I didn't want to be in education, but I made that transition based on the encouragement of my wife, and really got into coaching situation, social studies and coaching, AP teacher. I was an AP teacher, and really my superintendent just kept poking at me, Lonnie Morris. Saying you'll never stay in coaching long. You might as well go ahead and get your admin certification. You're built to be an admin. And I told him all the reasons why I would never be an admin. And through a series of events, 3 years later, I became an admin. And I still don't know how that happened. Like Derek, I think it was probably more the good Lord's will than mine, because you can't really fight that sometimes. It just seems to happen. So you might as well accept it. And that was 24 years ago. So I've been through the circles, and really, I would say my first mentor, Ron Livingood, he was such a source of not only inspiration, but also like wisdom, right? He just had a very unique, God-given way to give you tidbits that would stay with you for a long period of time. And I still catch myself using a lot of his words when I'm mentoring, new principals or deputies or, anyone below me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing those thoughts in the name of the people that give you that corazon, that love, that, that oomph. Chris, what about you, my man?
Yeah, mine. I knew I wanted to teach or be a police officer. I knew graduating from school in high school that I just wanted to help people, and those were kind of my 2 paths. So I went to a small school out in Stephenville, Texas, Tarleton State University, and started my freshman year and found out you had to have a 3.0 to get into teaching college. And I went, well, it looks like police officer work's going to be it. And some of y'all are like, people out there going, what? I know it's a really high GPA, but
it's higher than mine.
And so I went down that path, but I really, you know, my senior year, I had some coaches on staff that coached me and allowed me to stay in athletics. My senior year, I didn't have to pick up any extra credits. And so really from December all the way through that May, I was able to kind of stay on and be in the coach's office and show up and help with workouts. And they stuck me with a bunch of freshmen. And I just loved it from the start. My driving really was just trying to inspire people to be better than where they were, and getting them to realize and understand that, hey, you get to be the determiner of your path. Like, you get to choose, are you gonna be good at this? Are you gonna put effort into it? Are you gonna go for it or not? And that was kind of my fire. And whenever I finally got to step into coaching, I had a fantastic mentor teacher who dealt with me lovingly. Kevin Trompler is his name, up in Bonham, Texas. You know, things like sitting through our first principal meeting, and the principal kept saying teaks, and I lean over. That's our Texas standards for teaching. And I lean over and I'm like, "What's a teak?" And he laughed, and I'm like, "I'm not joking." And so loving me through some of those, really rookie moments, but and then there's so many people along the way. A great mentor group when I was able to coach in Lone Oak, Texas, of just good, godly men who love kids to love kids. We let the win column take care of itself, and we just kind of dove in and took care of kids and took care of each other. And that was kind of the path of, I never have had like a long standing, I've had this person for a mentor for a long time. Mine have always kind of been, while I was here, I had people that poured into me and I got to listen to and go, man, that's great. And try to grow from that. And as I was able to move other places, look at them and send them messages and say thanks. Dr. Karen Cummins in Mesquite ISD came to me and said, I want to put you in this leadership program. And I thought, you're crazy. Like, I'm a mess. And I know that. And so, but got to go through that and really just felt like the other two guys have already said, God saying, hey, this is the path you're going to go. And over some lumps and long learning, I've gotten old enough and hopefully wise enough that when God says, no, this is the way, I say, yes, sir, and jump on board. And so that's really been I've just been so blessed and lucky to be around amazing people, staff members, secretaries, just folks who love me and that I love, and can look back, and I'd be here for hours if I named them all.
It's beautiful to hear your words, the tone that you share, that speaks volumes. And we all know, sitting in our different chairs, that tone and the way you deliver something is what attracts you as a leader, and people are attracted to you, and they're very blessed in your communities to have people like you. Thank you very much. Stick.
Thank you so much for sharing, you guys. Oh my God, you can just hear the passion. And I'm just excited that all of y'all came from alternative certification, because that's kind of what's happening in our schools right now, right? We're getting a lot of people exiting, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But before we do that, you guys, before we talk about this teacher shortage, I want to kind of ask you this other question, because, there's just so much that happened this past year. This 24-25 school year was challenging already, just to say the least. So I want to know, and please tell everybody in the audience, what did you learn from this past year? Because we always kind of reflect on what happened last year so that we can do better moving forward, right? We want to make sure that we're always putting our best foot forward, and we're always making sure that we're correcting some of the things that we saw. We have a new superintendent in a new district, Derek, right? You're going into, so there's some things that you saw, and I'm sure you want to kind of tidy some things up. So I'm going to start off with you, Derek, since you're kind of walking into this fresh year. What did you learn last year at your previous district that you want to make sure that you kind of look at moving forward, so that we can, so you can have a successful year?
Yeah, I love that question. It's good to reflect as you're asking that. I'm thinking of, and I just always believe, and schools are about people. They're about relationships. And one of the things I'm really proud of, and I think the reason I'm in this role I'm at now, is because I've done everything I can to love people and care about them, and let them feel loved, and let them with kids and adults and build those relationships. And so once you get the relationships, I think in schools we need two things. First, we need relationships, and then we got to work on growth. We got to figure out how we can all be the best versions of ourselves. And so, like, there's a measure in every classroom and every campus, you got love and accountability.
Mhm.
And so, I was really fortunate. Started at Alto right before spring break, and it gave me a chance to really sit back and watch what's going happening. I felt so. I was pleasantly. I was thrilled the way I was approached by all the kids, and you know, small town. Every kid looked me in the eye, and when I spoke to them, they spoke to me back. Teachers the same way. I met with each person individually, one on one, and I tried to find out what they loved about being in Alto, what we could do to get better. I wanted their input, and what I noticed was we have. If you're asking what I see that we can improve, is just taking it taking what Alto's at right now, and also seeing the potential for more.
Mhm.
I think sometimes a new perspective, a new, um, just new energy, higher expectations for everything, and then it just starts with every interaction, making people feel appreciated, make them feel recognized, and then valued, and then feel like they belong to something bigger than themselves. And then the third element, really, what I want to do is allow Alto ISD to feel special and make them understand that they are, and what the level that we're going to be at. I want to create that to where other districts strive for that, and they strive for that love and accountability that I mentioned, to a degree that we can be the inspiration for all small schools, and overcome things that kids from poverty. Alto ISD, we're about 75% to 80% economic disadvantaged. We have about a third Hispanic, a third African American, a third white kids. And if we can do it, anybody can do it. And that's my goal. That's why I want to get out of bed every day. And our goal should be to change the world. That's our purpose, and be able to do it, change the world one child at a time. And um, that means that's our purpose. And my vision is just each and every day maximizing the potential we all have, and growing, be a truly, once you get inside the fences of our district, that every person is working to be 1% better and be a growth based organization, from me to the maintenance, to the cafeteria, to the grounds crew, to the paraprofessionals, to the principals. We just try to be the best we can be and grow each day. And
Absolutely, Derek. I love the fact that you did like a listen and learn tour. I mean, you're new to the district and you met with everybody individually. And so I kind of took that as a listen and learn tour, just to kind of gather all this information and then see what their potential is. I love it. And then changing that culture, right, to be the best district that you can put forth for your community. Derek, thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you're reflecting on this, because man, you have a lot of work to do moving forward.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But it's exciting. It's exciting. A new challenge. And I love, somebody said earlier, I think it was Josh said earlier, I think I love how he said he loves helping people succeed.
Mhm.
Man, that's what we should all aspire to be each morning. What can we do to help somebody succeed?
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'll piggyback off what Derek just said about just seeing people succeed. I think us as leaders, that really needs to be our definition of success.
Mhm.
Are we putting processes and paths in place that our biggest job is giving people the tools and support and encouragement so that they can be successful as they define it? And so for me, this year was crazy year for us. We went out for a bond. That process started in July. And I had never been at a school district that has gone through one. I've never, orchestrated all the fun that involves. And so for me, it took a lot of time. And so we had 6 planning meetings going through September through December. And then starting in January, once you call for bond, all the just meetings. So I think I held anywhere from 22 to 25 community meetings where I presented on the bond and the information that we had gathered. And So for me, looking back, going, well, hey, what's something that I need to make sure if I'm ever lucky enough to do the process again, I need to make sure I have good people in place to help me drive vision when I can't drive it. Right. And so my plate was pretty full. I was doing a lot of heavy lifting for the bond process. It passed, by the way, at almost 67%. So super excited. $30 million drop in the bucket for a lot of people, huge for Quitman, Texas. So, just seeing that through the years, some of the intentionality of what I like to be on campus and talk to people to talk about our vision of educating every child, every chance, every day, making sure that those things are in process and working towards that. I've got good people, and they kind of did it without any direction, but hope's not a plan, and I like to be intentional. And so that's my kind of takeaway from last year is, hey, as my plate gets busy with things, I got to be intentional with the vision casting, the driving of the ship to make sure that we're still like Derek just talked about, getting 1% better. We want to be growth mindset. We want to be, we really don't compare ourselves to anybody outside our four walls. And we say, hey, we're going to look at us and say, where do we do great things and where do we need to grow and just get after it. So that's for me, looking at it as my plate gets full. Do I make sure I'm communicating to my leaders to say, hey, this is still the most important thing. We're going to keep the main thing, and I need you guys' help to drive that vision.
I love that. Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. We have to look ourselves in the mirror, right? It's like what Principal Capelli says all the time, right? Is pulling at that mirror and making sure that we're doing our best every single day. And you know what? Congratulations on that bond, because that is hard work. I mean, talk about the publicity, the meetings, the building the trust to the to your community, right? I mean, that's a lot of work. And if you did that all kind of and you weren't as intentional, now we know what we have to do, right? And it was hard work for you to do that, so kudos to you, sir. And I'm sure you learned a lot from this process that you can then move forward so that next time you got it right. But congratulations again, because that is not everybody gets to say that they passed a bond. So how about you, Mike? What lessons did you learn from this past year?
I would just say that, it's an interesting time for me because it's my last year, right, in K-12. So you reflect a lot, through the whole process. You start realizing. One of my old friends told me, when it's time to go. And I asked him, when is it time to go? When you know, right? That's all I would say. When you know. And so many people started saying that to me, and didn't understand it until about this year. And then I understood it's time to go. And I would say, so one of the things I learned based on that is you have to care enough about something to want to give it away. Right. It's one thing to build it. It's one thing to envision it. It's one thing to implement it. And you get so tied to that work because it's so personal.
Mm-hmm.
And you have so much time and energy. The amount of time that these guys and gals in this position put in to the job is just unimaginable, right? But you really got to get to a point to where you give it away, and you also have to learn that through the processes of being a superintendent, your friends move in and out, and your enemies multiply exponentially. That's not personal. That's just the reality of the job. We all have a shelf life. And I think it's important that we all start thinking about our exit plan at the same time in the process we're thinking about our implementation plan, because we all build strategic plans, right? And I would say our career as a superintendent is also a strategic plan. It has a middle. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we necessarily need to fight that process. We just need to be able to read the tea leaves and leave our district as well as we entered. Right? How you leave is extremely important to your district and your personal legacy. And Chris, congratulations on the bond. As someone who came in as a change agent, I have done 9 years of my 10 have been in construction. Raised 2 different ones. So when you raise taxes, that is always, a win and a loss all at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I got some folks in Sunday school class.
I'm sure you do on both sides.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing. You're absolutely right. You know, it is hard to walk away. I mean, I'm right there. I was a principal for 18 years at the same school. Who does that, right?
Does
And I
that.
walked away. I walked away from that because I knew it was time for me to walk away and let somebody else lead a school that I built from scratch. So when you were saying your story right now, I was reflecting on my own path. And wow, just thank you so much for your dedication, your work, your time working with so many kids, and yeah, you're leaving a legacy behind. Josh.
All right. So I can't get, hey, Dot McKeever Jeter. I'm Jeter. Sorry. I clicked on every button on Facebook. I don't know. This monkey ran out of ideas. So follow us on YouTube. That's why I put the YouTube link just in case of situations like this. Big shout out to Nick Edwards, who will be hosting today's X Chat in Virginia. So once you're done with this show, go check out Nick Edwards, who will be hosting that VAESP chat. And still, thank you for being there. Da Costa Ajeto, who will be here as a guest in August the 3rd with educators from across the world. So, gentlemen, real quick, we know this is a fact. All of us, when we came in back in the Mesozoic period, we had like 15 pages of candidates, right?
Yes.
We had 15 pages of history teachers, 32 pages of PE coaches.
Oh my
We
God.
had maybe like 10 pages of science, but we had pages. Now we could barely find 2. Just like Mike. Mike is saying, hasta la vista, baby. All right. We know that there's an exodus. We know that the colleges are not putting out a lot of what we went through, pathways. Alt certs are the way, as some of you already walked into this field. So from your level, Chris, from the superintendent's level, what ideas do you have to help out those people, principals, assistant principals that hire, HR people, with that lack of quality? Because we understand that even the people that we're hiring right now don't bring the quality for our kids.
Yeah.
We've had to release some of those out-cert people. That's a fact. All right. I'm not saying that what we went through, the traditional way of college, then student teaching, then observation hours, was the right way, because a lot of bad teachers were created that way also. I'm just saying that right now we don't have the right pool for the need that we have as people are leaving the field. So what suggestions do you have, Chris, helping out both kids that are coming in through the traditional way, not that many, but some, and the alt-cert people? What are you doing to address that need in your area?
Yeah. You know, we just start with a lot of conversations with our principals and saying, look, as we start our processes and starting to vet even new people, we know like, hey, we're probably going to have this opening. Our biggest thing is find them. And especially at our lower levels, elementary through junior high, we want to grow our own. And so, you know, I'm proudly, I can say, we've got, I think, 6 teachers right now that used to be paraprofessionals at our elementary campus that were our paraprofessionals that we knew. And our big thing too is like, first and foremost, we want to get our hooks in good people that love kids. And if we can find those folks, then we can figure the content out. Now, you're right. If there may be some learning curve there. They're going to have to learn how to do classroom management. They're going to have to learn what a TEK is or a tech, depending on, you know, who you are. Data, right? But really, that's for us. So we're kind of doubling down into ourselves. We're really looking at our teacher pathway at our high school, our CTE pathway, just in that process, and really kind of trying to look at it on our end and go, hey, if we can't control a lot of those outside exterior things, let's control what we can control. We've got kids in our hallways that love education. We're really, you know, for me, is hammering back to the narrative of, hey, teachers, if you hate this profession, go. And that's scary whenever I have 1 or 2 applicants or no applicants sometimes. But, you know, for me, it's, if you hate this, get out of here. I'll help you. We're going to find folks who love kids and want to get in here, because the people that love kids and want to get in here, they're going to tell the right narrative, and they're going to go talk to people and they're going to go, no, this is the greatest profession ever. Public education, education in general, is the best job you'll ever have. You're going to stand in front of kids and you're going to say something, do something that they'll never forget. Sometimes that's good and sometimes maybe bad, but they're going to love you for it. And you're going to provide opportunities for them to break chains and go be somebody that they never thought they were going to be able to be. And if we can get that going and tell that narrative for education, regardless of what people are seeing on the news, I think that's where we got to start. We got to flip it back to what it really is, that it is a great profession and that you can make a good living and you can pay for your kids' college and you can have a great retirement and you can, still have date nights and buy a car when you need to and all the things, right? And that's for me, it's just, we got to build our own program. We got to learn how to grow our own. And then we got to make sure people hear us loud and clear that this is a great profession. And if you're a teacher and you're telling your kids not to become teachers, man, I want to have a coffee with you, and I want to change your mind because this is still a great profession.
Thank you for saying that, Chris. It's so crucial. Look, hey, educator, if you tapped out already, don't bring down the profession. Don't go on Facebook. Don't go on X. Don't go on LinkedIn on how horrible your principal is. Okay, let's say they are horrible. They have the wherewithal to go tell that to their face.
Mm-hmm.
Or go to HR and follow policy DH in Texas and follow the chain of command. Because you have a bad relationship with that principal, that assistant principal that's been writing you up, doesn't mean that all the profession is horrible. That means that you're in a bad situation. And right now, you're a free agent, baby. Right now, you could go to any district because there's that need. So if you're in the wrong fit, then find the place that's the right fit for you. Let God place you there, because in the end, just because you have a sour relationship with your department head, with your AP or your principal, that doesn't mean that our profession sucks. That means that you're in the wrong fit. And if you don't like kids, you're right. I'm sorry. Tap out. Go to Starbucks. Go be a barista. Because you know what? That kid needs you every single last day. And you know what? That kid might invite you to their ceremony when they become a doctor. Derek.
Love what you said, Josh. I love what Chris said, man. Hey, I just want to say first, man, education's given me so much more than I've ever given it. It's incredible. We don't say it enough. It's a great, great calling, not a job, and you better be called to do it. I started out. You asked about principals and advice. 7 years ago, I started as the elementary principal. I got hired right after July the 4th. Had a campus that had 700 kids, and I had 18 teaching openings that year, after July 4th. You ask how we do it. It's about culture and people and loving people. The last 2 years, the last 2 summers, I have not only that campus, but 3 other campuses, 4 campuses total of that size I supervised. Had one opening last summer of all 4. And the same year before I had one opening. The thing is, 80% of the people I hired, they didn't even apply. It was word of mouth. And I want to give you got to be proactive. You got to treat your people and your campus with the best possible culture. People will come if you have that. But if you don't have that, I'm gonna give you some advice. Don't fall into the catch of doing things the way everybody's always done them and hiring people. When people come to you to interview, they're interviewing you too. You got to remember that. So you got to make them feel welcome. You got to cut back on all the red tape on the application process. I told everybody, if we got an opening in my campuses, I tell everybody, hey, give them my cell phone number. I'm the superintendent, but I don't care. I mean, if I reach out to them, set up a time to visit and talk to them, and when they come in, show them that your campus, your school district is different, that you love people and you want to help them be the best they can be. And if you do that enough times, people will show up. Right now, I'm so happy right now, and I credit who's happened before me, but Alto ISD, we have 0 openings right now.
What?
So I think it's all about your culture and your people, and you treat people the right way. Netflix says when you hire one person, you hire 5 people just like them. Hire good people, connect with them, and find other people they're just like them, that love kids, Josh and Chris, like you said, and everything else will take care of itself.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Mike, what you got, my man?
Yeah, so I definitely want to shout out, what you all said about being an educator. I've always told my crew there's three professions that change a life: spiritual, medical, and educators, right? I mean, you have the ability to change a life. And we all could sit here and tell stories over and over and over again of kids, like ourselves. Like I won't speak for anybody else like me that wasn't that academically motivated, that went on to have success in different ways. Those are powerful, right? I'll also go back with Derek on your culture. Absolutely, is a relationship. It's a professional relationship between all the different ranks, right? But I also come back to Josh, right? We've got to stop the negativity about the profession. I can't be such a resource to a student, and then not encourage the profession, for that child, right? And that I've seen that happen, right? We've all seen that happen. We've all seen the post that people love to retweet or share. The negative rants late at night, about both directions, admin or teaching or parents or kid, whatever. That is not acceptable to me in this profession, right? Publicly, and most of us played ball, right? You can have a disagreement in the locker room, but you don't air that out publicly. Family, you can have a disagreement in the home, you don't air that out publicly. At school, you can have a disagreement in my office, but we're not going to air that out publicly. And then finally, I do think we need to take, even though it's out of our control, I do think we need to take a broader stance as a profession and as leaders, with state and national politics. We've got to get out of bashing the forum that provides 91% of Americans' children's educational outcomes, right? When did that ever become a negative aspect, right? Most of my career, if it didn't matter, it was a nonpartisan. If you said anything about education, public education that was negative, you were on your way out of office, right? But we've got into a situation where we are politicizing the health and well-being of our kids, and I just don't understand that. And I won't go on to a soapbox, right? Because I'm retiring now. My filter is not quite the same as it was a couple of years ago. But we've got to stop with the negativity around how we educate a democracy.
Agreed, 100%. And this is going to be that ongoing conversation that all of us need to have. Both Mari as a consultant, you all as a departing, you left your vision as a departing superintendent and the two pending superintendents. We're all going to have this ongoing conversation with the media, with our parents, with social media. And the beautiful thing, as long as we spotlight that beautiful kid that went from a 67 to a 74, boom, you just won the whole community. Notice I didn't say the valedictorian. Notice I didn't say anything else. The kids that do the incremental growth will always ensure a successful community because that's what we want. We coaches, you know that we tell them, give me a little bit more every day, a little bit more till we get to 100%. That will make a team, 100%. And then we see those kids growing incrementally, academically, as human beings, from 5 drama situations to 2 drama situations at the end of the year. We love it because that drops the referral rate, and that becomes a beautiful, united community. But it's about promoting the positive, not exacerbating the negative.
The negative. Thank you so much, you guys. And I know we're talking about teachers and the fact that we're trying to kind of fill this growth, this need, right, of the number of teachers that we have that are leaving. My question to you guys now is really about the folks that are being promoted, right? So we have teachers that are leaving the profession, right, completely, but then we have teachers that are getting promotions, and they're going into these assistant principal and these principal positions. So my question to you guys, because you guys are all superintendents and you guys are looking for amazing leaders who are going to lead your schools. So I'm going to start off with Mike. Mike, what are some of those qualities, those characteristics that you're looking for in a person who's going to lead these amazing schools? Because there's many people out there that are aspiring to be administrators or aspiring to be assistant principals. So what advice or what are you looking for that they can then work on, brush up on, make sure that they are polishing those skills so that folks like you, superintendents, are willing to hire them moving forward?
So everybody, I have 3 tiers. Top tier is, can you build relationships? Can you build trust? Can you be consistent over time? When you walk down a hallway, can people tell whether it's a good day or a bad day? I want people who can walk right down that hallway on a great day or a bad day, and the average employee not to be able to tell the difference. Right? You need to stay calm and consistent, and over time that builds trust. Right. But then you also have to be able to produce, and I kind of put that in my top tier. My second tier is communication, PR, and perception. Can you manage the outgoing communication and the incoming communication to be able to control that perception in the community? Because so many times that communication on Facebook can create a detriment that people just freeze under. And I want those people who can work and manage that. And then finally, the third for me is the curriculum instruction and assessment. It's so important. And daily growth, like Derek said earlier, is so important. I mean, growth is what should drive us all, right? Not just proficiency. I want growth. But if you can't do the top 2 tiers, you never get to the third.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happening. Definitely see that happening, because you, without trust, I mean, you can't even kind of go to the next base, right? If you don't take care of your relationship.
I've never mentored a principal or a superintendent or anybody in between that can't do that top tier better than their assistant that have lasted over 18 months.
Yeah. Derek, how about you? What are those qualities that you're looking for?
Well, I think one of the things that hurts education sometimes is that we sometimes look at great teachers and promote them to leadership positions,
Because they're great.
and we don't. Yes, exactly. And it's two different things.
Yeah.
It's two different things to be an assistant principal versus a principal, or to be a principal versus a superintendent. So we promote to the highest level of our competency, and then so what we need to do, if teachers want to be leaders, then you've got to me, leadership's all about helping other people grow. So what we've done at Pine Tree, and what I want to do here is, if we see people that aspire to be leaders, we should select who has those qualities, and then look for people and give them others to mentor, because our new teachers need support. Being a teacher, a first year teacher, is terrible year. It's going to be tough. No matter what, it's going to be a challenge. They're going to have very bad days, so they need somebody to help, somebody they can lean on, and that's to me, that's the best way for a teacher that aspires to be a leader, to show that they have that capability, is how can you grow other people? And if you grow other people, then you can grow a group of other people. Leadership's just really about, will people follow you? And I love what Mike said earlier. To be a leader, you've got to be real. You've got to, right now, I mean, you got to do the things we're doing right now. Learn from a podcast. Try to read. Try to find avenues to learn about leadership, because just because you're great at content doesn't mean you're going to be great at getting people to follow you. Or the other thing too is, what separates good from great in leadership is, are you able to have true conviction when you make a decision? Can you make those tough decisions? And how are you building trust with people to where you could honestly have tough conversations that help them grow, and they trust you to help them do that? And that's when you do that, when you can do that, your team can really flourish. When you can create a culture where the leader has built that connection with someone that they can follow you and be authentic enough to where, and that starts with the leader being real and being letting them know that you make mistakes and asking for input, like I mentioned earlier when we started, asking for and be willing to have tough decisions, but also understand and listen to others and grow. I don't want to surround myself with a bunch of people that are just like me. I need other people that
Or
help me
bobbleheads.
grow too. Yes, ma'am. I need people that are different from me in our leadership team. I want people to help me in areas that I'm not that aren't my strengths. That helps our team be the best we can be.
Absolutely, Derek. I love the way you said that, because you have to surround yourself with people that will complement and will help you even grow even further, right? Because that's what we need. We need to make sure that we lean on one another so that we can kind of move the district. But thank you,
When you
thank you
look
so
at
much.
Abraham Lincoln, just to follow up with that, Abraham Lincoln's book Team of Rivals, very difficult time for our country when we moved past the Civil War, and his leadership, his cabinet was all people that were totally different than him and had different viewpoints than he did, and he wanted that. So I think that's something that all leaders can aspire. Try to learn from those that are different from you and add value to what you do.
Awesome, thank you, Chris. How about you? What
They
qualities or what are you
stole all
looking
the good
forward?
answers. They
Say that
stole
again.
all the good answers. I was literally writing because I'm a note taker, so I was writing, "Hey, you get promoted to your level of incompetence," and so Derek you stole my thunder. No,
Right.
man, I think John Maxwell, he quotes somebody, I can't ever remember, but he says, you think you're a leader and you look around and no one's with you, you're just taking a walk, right? And so for us, we're kind of tweaking ours. We had a couple assistant principal openings this year, and 4 or 5 applicants, and really none in house. And so for me, I took that as a challenge of like, why are we not growing our own? If we're talking about
Yeah.
growing teachers and doing all this, why are we hoping that somebody from the outside can come in and join our culture? Like there's going to be a setback for however long they get onboarded anyways. And so big conversation was up with my principals was who's leading in your campuses right now. And so, to piggyback off all those things, we got some names of folks, and these are folks who are volunteering to help run a data meeting. They're stepping up and stepping into leadership positions of, hey, I see a need and I'm going to meet a need without someone having to go, hey, would you do this, please? And so for us, and like for me, are you self-motivated? Can you get a task and go, I got you? And I grew up saying, no problem. When someone asked me, hey, can you go do the laundry? No problem. Hey, can you figure out such and such? No problem. And so I look for those types of people because I understand that especially in leadership, for whatever reason, sometimes, I remember being a lead principal. I was never an AP. The bell rang, all my kids went into the classroom, it's dead quiet. And I went, now what? Right. And so finding those folks who are already kind of grabbing a hold and asking to do more, I think is my biggest one. Are they looking to better themselves? I think in like circles, right? They've done all the things in their little circle, and now they're looking to expand it, and they're kind of grabbing things on their own of like, hey, I want to help with that, or they come with an idea, and for us in Quitman, we want to have our yes on the table for people. So when they come in and say, hey, I want to try to do this huge science thing for my parents and we want to say, awesome, what do you need from us? And not right now, it's probably not a great time. That sounds like a lot of work. And so finding those people, I love the fact that we talked about tier 1 being relational. Can they communicate, in that second rung? And then are they producing? For us, all the folks that came to the top when we asked about who's leading right now are excellent in their classroom, right? They have high standards. They hold kids accountable. They build relationships with the people around them. And their peers would have most likely said the same thing about them. That, yeah, I could see this person being a principal pretty soon. And so those things are just huge. But for me, are they self-motivated? Are they going to grow? Or are we going to have to ask them to do more? And if that's the case, then for us, they're not going to fit our culture.
So I think I think it's important then for principals then to also kind of see within their building, right? To find out where can we then start building even like a leadership academy or leadership institute, because you're absolutely right. Just because you're a great teacher doesn't make you a great administrator, right? I've seen that many times. And we need to make sure that us as principals that we are looking into our schools and making sure that we are building those people. Because I love that chinchilawa moment when Josh was talking about earlier, is principals' jobs are also not only to move the needle and to produce great results in our kids, but we have to make sure that we're aspiring our students to be great professionals in the future, but also look at our own professions and our own teachers in our building. How can we get them better as well? Not because they are good teachers, but because they have the qualities that they have to make sure that they can lead a school. Chris.
One thing real fast.
Yes.
I would just say this. Mike talked about it a little bit, but like for all of us, we're going to have an exit strategy. And I don't want to work really hard and then hire people that aren't effective. And then 2 years from now, see that something that I've put blood, sweat, and tears into fall apart.
Yeah.
So important for us to grab a hold of leaders, give them the support they need, pull the curtain back and say, look, I want you to listen to this phone call with me on this parent, listen to how I handle it. I might even handle it wrong. And so let them see and hear those things. Because, as a first year principal, I didn't get it. My first week on the job, a lady called me a smartass, and I was like, yes, ma'am, I was. Right? and so, one was there to tell me like, hey, don't be a jerk. Oh, that makes sense. And so we just got to grab leaders and love them and get them to be better than us. Find your replacement.
Chris, good answer, but not appropriate. Derek, what's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I think sometimes we just, it's been said that perfect's the enemy of good. So we get in, principals become principals maybe for the first time, and they want to be in control of everything. And we use the word culture and we word people. People don't want to be micromanaged. So what you have to do is you have to allow people to make mistakes. Give them a responsibility, like Chris mentioned. Lead a data meeting and let them take ownership of that and see. And it may not be exactly how you would do it, and do not allow your campus, your district to be cookie cutter. It doesn't need to be. Everybody doesn't have to look the same.
Yeah.
But if everybody's got the same goals, and to be honest with you, you we're about learning. So learning is about uh, creating grit within kids, creating opportunities for failure. You know, the more we fail, the more we grow. And we
Exactly.
don't tell kids and we don't tell adults enough that. And the principals, you've got to just be real. Don't think you've got to be perfect. Don't think your building's got to be perfect. It's fun. It's fun to make mistakes and make mistakes together and create a culture where you allow for that, and then you celebrate trying new things and growing. That's when it's fun.
Derek,
Create that
you
culture.
nailed it. You nailed it right there, because you're absolutely right. Principals always want everything to be perfect, and you can't. You can't let that happen. You have to when I was a principal, I used to tell my teachers, okay, so that didn't work out. Get back up and kind of brush it all off, and let's try it again. Let's do it again, because that's how we learn. We learn from our failures. So I love the fact that you said
And
that.
and growth is not, it's not going to be it's not going to be a plane where you're just seeing it every day. You're going to have progress, then you're going to have bad days, then you got to know when you have the bad days. The good days, keep the optimism. We used that word hope earlier. Growth gives everybody hope. Be the leader. Hey, leaders, I'll tell you, man, we are the dealers of hope. Make everybody talk. Chris said it earlier. Continue. You can't just say your vision and put it on plaster on a wall. It's got to be it's got a living, breathing. You got to model what you expect. And when people feel that, and part of what we expect is, hey, you know what? We're going to have bad days. What do? We pop back up. Good days are coming. Have that optimism, that enthusiasm, and growth will happen.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing, Josh.
Quick promo, commercial break. I get no money out of this. I just like great PD. If you know or you don't know, there is a very dark part to education. There are gatekeepers to the next chair. There is politics to the next chair. You never knew how much power the cashier in your cafeteria has, especially if she is married to the board president. Ah, there's a dark side. Superintendent Glenn Robbins from New Jersey compares the obstacles faced by that guy that could never become an assistant principal because of politics to artists. Great read, the kind of read that we love as educators, and it connects to music and education. Hey, we all finished our T test already. Our T tests are being finished. If you have issues with classroom discipline, Kevin Curtis, great guy in Texas. It shows you how to run discipline. 1, 2, 3, 4, caveman style for the campus, the classroom, and the district level. Great guy, awesome. 23 stories by educators that inspire you. Chapter 23 from Memorial Pathway Academy. Yours truly wrote a chapter with Barbara Bray's book, and there's also an audio. You get to hear my ugly romantic voice in an audio book. God, I love that. Just for that, you should buy it. And I get no money from this. Jimmy Casas, our show, a guest 2 weeks ago. Great book, brand new. And if you just got the chair, hey, principal, if you just got the chair, you're going to run into the cheerleading mom because it's almost that time for football.
Tryouts.
And that mom is going to want her base to be a flyer. She's not a flyer. She's a base. But she's going to want to be in the front row, and she's going to want to fly. You have no idea what I just said. If you've been in education and you've been an administrator, you know what the heck I'm talking about. And you're going to need the stoics to keep you in check. So if you are a leader, Superintendent Glenn Robbins, another book right here, the kind of books that we love to read about keeping calm in the storm of that softball mom who doesn't want to sell cookie dough, but wants her daughter to go on the trip. Everyone else sold cookie dough. You know what I'm talking about, guys. I know you guys don't deal with this. It never goes to the superintendent. Never, ever. Only principals deal with this, right? Wink, wink. Glenn Robbins, great book. Highly recommended out there. All right, guys, we're about to close the show with 2 quick questions, and we're going to use your experience before we go into the Échale Ganas lightning round. Real quick, you guys have been around the block. You've been around like I have been. I just finished year 32. Mike is saying, hasta la vista, baby. All of us have been in for a while. So please tell the audience, 'tis the conference season, summer, right? Conference statewide, conference national-wide, a book, a podcast. Tell 2 things, either a podcast, a conference, or book that you tell any educator. Hey, este me gusta a mí. I love this one. I recommend it for you because it makes me a better educator. Chris, go.
Man, book, Way of the Shepherd. For the life of me, I can't remember the author. I've given my copy to somebody else, but just it's how you serve and love people. Podcast, John C. Maxwell, executive podcast is amazing. 15, 20 minutes. Always a great nugget in there to go, hey, I haven't thought about that. That's a great thing.
Beautiful. Derek.
I'm reading James Clear, Atomic Habits. It's not about goals, it's about systems. Try to find your system. It's about process over results. Podcast, I listen to a lot, but I like the Daily Stoic, Ryan Holiday. Always words of wisdom. I mentioned earlier, we gotta take care of ourselves. You take care of yourself, then you can take care of other people.
Exactly. Mike.
Book Art of Possibility by Rosamund and Benjamin Zander. I think it's just a good perspective on the things that we can do. Gratitude, any way that we can get gratitude, and preach gratitude to ourselves, take care of ourselves, positivity. Those are all key components for me.
Any conferences, gentlemen? Anything that you recommend? I didn't learn about conferences till 12 years into my career. Because our districts were very, we do everything perfect here.
Yeah. I've been to a lot of conferences, but what I've learned more at conferences is I get into a taxi or now an Uber and say, take me to the closest school. And just being able to visit schools outside of your area, I've learned so much from taking school visits. So I preach to all of our people in every district that I've been in, get out of your community, get out of your state, go talk to your peers in other places, go visit schools in other places. You will always learn a takeaway for your place.
Beautiful. Derek, any conferences, any visits?
I'm at a conference right now. Actually, I'm sitting in a lobby, but I'll say this. Texas has a lot of conferences, but the number one thing I think you take from conferences is not exactly always the presentations, network. Find people that do what you do, connect with them, and help. They will help you. You need a support system in this, especially if when you're in a superintendent role or even a principal role. It's a lonely position. So you need to network and find out and ask questions about just like Mike said about schools, ask questions about what they do at their school.
Awesome. Chris, any conferences, anything?
If you are a school under 1,200 students of enrollment, reach out to TASA and get in the small school network. We've been in it for 2 years. I send my assistant soup, business director. It is what you talked about, a networking opportunity to go see schools that are doing great things, but also be around a bunch of growth mindset people that are going to push and ask and grow your thinking. And it's awesome.
Awesome. And a big plug to TASSP next week. Oh, no, 2 weeks. TASSP, I'll be presenting there. Come and say hi. TASSP for secondary school educators. Stick.
Awesome, awesome, guys. Last question. We're gonna start off with Chris. Chris, ready?
Yep.
Because this is gonna be super easy for you, sir. Hey, finish the sentence. Okay, so finish the sentence. Hey, educator, next year I want you
to be joyful and have some fun.
Joyful and have some fun. How about you, Mike? What are you going to tell those educators?
Have some fun. Let's try something new and let's learn something new.
Learn something fun, learn something new. And Derek? Hey, educator, next year I want you to
appreciate every interaction, every single interaction you have. Make that person feel valued and appreciated.
Love that. Awesome. Go for it, Josh.
All right, let's close up lightning round, gentlemen. We talked about this before the show. This is not a 7-hour dissertation per question. It's a lightning round. If you go too long, you will hear Pac-Man. You went on too long. You're only allowed to go real long on question number 2. So we're going to start off with the Honorable Superintendent Mike, who's saying, hasta la vista, baby. So if you know Mike or you don't know, Ganas, this is our podcast. We are the PGP podcast, G for Ganas. And understand that for Hispanics, those of you might know, might not know, it's a spiritual word for all Hispanics. Argentina, Colombia, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba. Insert whatever Hispanic country. This is not a definition in a dictionary. It is a spiritual generational word that motivates a grandma to yell at her granddaughter, échale ganas, mija. Do it with spirit. Do it for the people, our family. So when you answer these questions, Mike, no pressure. Échale ganas. Understand? So here we go, Mike. Give advice to a new administrator.
Take yourself so seriously. Get out of your own way and hire a really good team, because they're the one that does the implementation. Your administrators below you or who implement them, clear the way above them, support them below them.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
Okay, I'm a little different on this one because I didn't want to read one without asking, and we're out of school. But I will just say, over my 28 years, every positive note that I've ever received from a teacher, a parent, a student, or a community member has been invaluable. You don't always get them. You don't get enough of them. So when you do, they mean a lot.
Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
Oh, I got to say the wife, right? She's by far the best teacher that I've ever seen in the classroom. She's an amazing PD provider. She's the reason that I got into education. And when I left, she left being a mechanical engineer, which took away a lot of money out of my bank account as a kept man. But we became educators together. She's awesome, and she's also my follow. She's way smarter than I am. I'm married up in so many different ways. But at Melody Stacy is absolutely a great follow for a building level, a district level.
Add Melanie Stacy. Got it.
And
What's
the L
one?
is a one. The L is a one. I'm supposed to put that in.
All right, gotcha. What's one song that embodies you, your spirit as a person, sir?
Oh man, I got so many, but
Una.
The Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, but if you try real hard, you might just get what you need.
What's your favorite quote?
Oh well, I'm going with this one because it's personal right now. Education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom.
What's your favorite cheat food?
Anything salty.
What's your favorite TV show or book?
Favorite TV show? Anything sports related, whatever the best game on. And I go back to my book is The Art of Possibility. It's a great book for the education on the history side. Anything about World War II.
All right. And now that you're retired, hopefully with a good upcoming job, wink, wink, at a certain place, wink, wink, God will guide you. How can people go tap into that brain of all the experiences you have? How can people reach out to you, sir?
So I'm not on Facebook, but I am on Twitter or X. So Beechwood SUP, Beechwood Superintendent. You can find me on Twitter. That's the easiest way.
Perfect. Derek, in the conference, sitting, we've all had those meetings there in the nice, uncomfortable sofa. Here we go. Échale ganas, Derek. Give advice to a new administrator.
Just be real. I put a note above my computer that says, get up and visit classrooms. You got to be out. You got to be visible. You got to be approachable.
Read a note, an email, a text from a teacher, student that inspired you.
Now, I have the note on my phone, so I can't do that right now, but I'll say I just left a place. I love what Mike said. You got to care enough to be able to leave a place. It was very hard for me to leave Pine Tree ISD after 7 years. Built so many strong relationships, but I looked over this morning. I had a teacher that gave me a note. A lot of them gave me notes when I left and text messages, and she just talked about how much she appreciated how much I believed in her, and she hated that I was leaving, but she knew that there was someplace else that needed what I could bring. She said so many nice things about me. I want to echo what Mike said. I keep a basket with all of my notes. You got tough days, teachers, principals, you got tough days in education. Keep something where if you're having a bad moment, go read one of those notes.
Perfect. Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
The educator that inspires me is my favorite teacher of all time. It's my third grade teacher, Mary Wilson. She may not be officially in the profession anymore, but she's a teacher. And I look for her that extreme. And then my niece, Braylee Stiegel, she's moving in from being she's been a third grade teacher. She's moving in a new role, being an ag teacher in Texas, and I'm excited for her.
Name one person people should follow. Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
You said earlier, 2 weeks ago, you had Jimmy Casas. Man, we got a lot to live up to. Jimmy Casas. There's so many things I could follow, and there's so many things he puts out there that builds culture, people. We make the negative into positive.
Name one person people should follow on social media.
That was one. Joe Filipino.
There you go.
What's Joe's?
Sanfilippo.
Yeah, Joe and Sanfilippo, Jimmy Casas. Those are guys. Angela Myers. Just a lot of people that I see that are. John Gordon. I look at him, an educator. There's people that are leaders and teachers. There's a lot of great information out there. Look for it.
You could see their shows. We've been here the last 4 weeks. Joe Sanfilippo and Jimmy Casas. One song, senor. One song that embodies your spirit as a person.
Man, I love this one because it was my theme song at my last school. It was a kind of we were a school from poverty. We moved it on, and I moved to another role as assistant superintendent. And I let the principal. The song became before we left. The show goes on. Lupe Fiasco. The show goes on. Just keep building other places. That's what I want to do, and make every place better than when you found it.
Perfect. What's your favorite quote?
Success is the result of hard work. Thomas Edison.
What's your favorite cheat food?
Man, when you're in Texas, you got to get Bluebell homemade vanilla ice cream. I can't resist that homemade vanilla ice cream from Bluebell.
What's your favorite TV show or book?
Anything Yellowstone, Taylor Sheridan, any of those series. I mean, I grew up around cows. My granddad, my dad, my uncles, and that's it goes back to hard work. You never get anything in life without hard work.
And I know for a fact, if you watch social media, there is a ton of brand new superintendents. So if they want to know the first 4 months, what they can look forward to, how can they get a hold of you, sir?
We talked about networking, and I love, Josh, that you're doing this because you may not be in person right now, but don't be alone in this position. Principal's the same way. If you want to reach out to me, I love one of my favorite things about my job is being able to help other people. So my Twitter or X is at Mr. Derek Conley. I don't have maybe as many followers as some of you guys, but I also want to stress social media is a big presence in each campus, each district. Alto ISD on Facebook. Please follow us. We got a lot of great things going. I love what we're doing on social media. And then my own personal Facebook is Derek Conley.
Perfect. Love it. Love the way you're promoting it. Love it, sir. And let's finish off our show with Chris. Here we go. Give advice to a new administrator, sir.
Be you. You didn't get hired to be somebody else, and keep growing. What got you there won't keep you there.
Read a note, email, text from a teacher or student that inspired you.
This is a group of cheerleaders that I was the bus driver for a full year. We just started UIL, so they gave me that picture, some other little goodies. I was a high school principal. I very well could have delegated that task to somebody else. I drove every football game, drove to Fort Worth for that competition. Loved every second of it. It was a different wrinkle that I had never got to deal with, and had a blast. And that was just their way to say thank you. And it was a joy to be their bus driver for a season.
Beautiful. Send some flowers to a current educator that inspires you.
I'm going like Mike, so I'm going to send them to my wife. She's an assistant principal at an intermediate school for her second year. She's a rock star. We get to nerd out and talk about leadership, and I just love her to death. She is so much better than I am and smarter than me.
And on a side note, for you husbands, great call. Here we go. Name one person that should be followed on social media.
Follow Dr. Brandon Enos if you're in Texas, at Brandon Enos on X. He's in Cushing ISD. He's doing a great job with advocacy right now, and just pushing to help get rid of the wonderful STAR test and get things in there that are good for educators, good for kids.
What? He's trying to get rid of this beautiful multi-million billion state test. How dare he?
We were so close.
It's so wanted, so loved. Oh my God, please. What's one song that embodies you, sir, your spirit?
That's the hardest question of the day. I picked Garth Brooks' Low Places just because when it comes on, I'm going to jam.
All right, exactly. What's your favorite quote?
I don't know who said it. It was just something me and my sons always say before they get out of my truck. Do the right thing because it's the right thing.
What's your favorite cheat food?
Mexican food all day long. Come on.
But real, not Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
All right. Let's make sure we get that right. All right. Not that fake stuff. All right. Here we go. What's your favorite TV show or book?
Amazing Race right now. We just jump over and watch all the seasons. Love it. At some point, me and my wife are going to apply to try to make the show. We'll have to go to couples therapy, I think, before and after, but we love it.
Love it. And how can people go tap into your knowledge, sir? The Bulldog knowledge.
That's right. Facebook, Chris Mason, and then X, CD Mason 67. And then again, follow our Equipment ISD Facebook page. We do a lot of great stuff and try to tell great stories and just love on people.
Awesome. Thank you. So if you're an aspiring individual in their districts, they already told you what they're looking for. And number two, if you're aspiring to apply at their districts, look at their social media. You know what? Those are the kind of tidbits that people don't tell you because you are, I'm using just the clinical term, ignorant of that district. Look into their social media. The superintendents are telling you this is what we do and these are the fabulous things. So you connect your talent as an individual to what they bring to the table as a district, and that will get you for sure a great interview with that panel. That panel, that whatever it is, whether it be a teacher, whether it be assistant principal or principal, look into what they have to offer. And I would like to thank the panel for being here because it's not only knowledge, but you could tell today, like all the other shows, that they're talking from their heart, del corazón, cosas bonitas, beautiful things. So we value that here at the PGP podcast because it's a truly organic show. So thank you very much, panel, for being out there. And remember, it's summertime. Please make sure that you relax. And I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank the panel for being here because you know what? You could be mowing the lawn, you could be at the beach, and you're listening to us. And you know what? Time is one of those gifts that we can never get back. And hopefully today's show, just like the other 56 shows, have brought you value, have brought you that extra nugget to ensure that you're the best version of yourself. Because if you're the best version of yourself, your kids will be awesome stars in the future. And this is free PD. No PO needed. It's all for free. All you have to do is rewind, pause, come back to the show, and take those notes, just like our guests always take notes from each other, unless it's an individual. It's valuable stuff that can only make you better. Don't forget to join us next week as we have our fourth assistant principal roundtable. And after that, we have the curriculum show. The curriculum show with Sean Kane. I am a Fundamental 5 person. We have Eric Francis, we have Jorge Valenzuela, and John Coripo. And after that, Superintendent Glenn Robbins will be here talking about that book that I mentioned earlier. And the following week, Charlie Peck and John Stamper, who will be addressing their brand new book that deals with trauma and emotion in the classroom. Nothing but success coming up, and it's all free for you. Panel, say goodbye to the audience.
Goodbye. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, and hold on.
Thanks so much for all you guys for what you being here. And Josh, thanks for having us, man.